On this video, we are going to discuss the #1 metric in what YouTube is looking at with regards to if a video takes off. There's a lot of metrics in the YouTube stratosphere. There's a lot of things people need to be paying attention to. Something we've been intentional about is retention, making sure that our videos got a punchy opening, 30 to 60 seconds, but then also there's retargeting things that people keep watching till the end of the video. Mr. B said something like, hey, 70% retention, 70% retention at the end of your video, which is nuts, by the way. He's saying that 70% of people should be watching at the end of your video, and that's a metric that he personally goes after, right? That's a metric. Another metric that YouTube looks at is watch time. What's the average percentage that people that complete the video? I got together with some different creators and we talked about all of our different analytics and which videos were performing and which videos weren't performing. And so we looked at all of these different things, but I think there's one that if I'm just starting out and I want to be focused on one, this is the one that everybody should be tapped in with. And then I'm going to give you guys the second one that you can kind of package it with that we've seen the needle move based on the second one. Okay, so the #1 metric, we're going to get right to it. The #1 metric, in my opinion, is your packaging of your videos. All right, I'm about to play a clip from Ben. Leave it.
Step 3 is the most important one because it really brings everything together. Without getting this right, no one will even see your content, making it all pointless, no matter how good it is. Like I mentioned earlier, when someone commits to watching your video, they are trading their time and attention, something super valuable. But how they make that decision in the first place all comes down to how they respond to a fancy thing called content packaging. And this is something you need to understand and get good at to grow an audience. Content packaging is what a potential viewer is exposed to before making the commitment to consume that piece of content. And here on YouTube, content packaging is the title of the video, the thumbnail for the video, and the hook of the video, which is the first bit of that video. Naturally,
so he breaks it down here on YouTube: title, thumbnail, hook. Okay, so title, thumbnail, hook. It is called your click-through rate, meaning when someone's sliding through YouTube, when they see your thumbnail and when they see your title, how many of them click on it? Depending on how much YouTube pushes out your content, that's going to be the metric. So if I'm initially dropping a video, we're hoping to get, I don't know, 12-15% click-through rate, meaning that out of all of our subscribers or all the people that got their notifications on, if 15% click on that video, then that's going to be good. And then as the video keeps performing, YouTube may push it out. More people, less people. Sometimes YouTube will take an old video and just start pushing it out. It's really random on the back end, but the front end is your click-through rate. Your thumbnail, which I blew and didn't do thumbnails for a very long time until I went to Grow the Video Live, sat down with vidIQ. They pressed me about doing thumbnails. Now, thumbnails is literally the most important thing for us. Thumbnails and titles of videos is by far the thing we really think through. And so your title, thumbnail.
Artist. And that's why so many people complain that it's impossible to grow on YouTube, which is just straight up untrue. People are just lazy and it is hard to get it right. Which brings us to step 3 in the framework. Your content packaging is shit and it just can't be. This car is your content. It has all the best features and potential performance in the entire world. This thing is an absolute beast. But even the best car in the world needs energy to move. And without it, regardless of how nice the car is, it's basically useless. The energy for your Tesla or gas for your Lambo is the content packaging. It is what makes the car go or not. People all stress about watch time and engagement and other metrics, which is the car, but until you get someone to commit, no one's watching. You need energy to make the car go. So through that example, you now understand why this stuff is so critical to get right.
I'm gonna link his video in the description of this. The #1 metrics, it's really simple, man. Thumbnail, title, that's it. Figure it out. Make compelling thumbnails, make compelling titles, and think about what other people are caring about because they're giving you their most precious commodity, which is their time. So if they click into your video, you have to give them value, and that is first predicated on a quality thumbnail and a quality title. Your click-through rate is the most important metric that I think YouTube is looking at. The second one, which a lot of people fumble, is that initial hook. He talked about it. I'm talking about 30 seconds, right? If the video's not opening with the title, people are gonna think it's click-through. Or here's another example. If somebody clicks into your video and you're like, hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Make sure that you do A, B, and C, and make sure you sign up for our Patreon community, and blah, like, what? Get to the point, jump right into the conversation and give me that hit of dopamine that I actually clicked into a video that's gonna talk about what it's claiming it's talking about. That hook is crucial in terms of how to get people to stay for the first 30 seconds. So I think primarily #1 is click-through rate, thumbnail. #2 is your hook, and can you keep them for 30 to 60 seconds? We've been shooting for trying to get people to stay a minute in our videos through the first, at a 70% rate. So meaning that 70% of the people that click into the video, we want to keep them there for at least a minute. Now again, Mr. Beast is like 70% completion rate. Okay, we've gotten up there, 50%, 45%, but what we've noticed is even if people watch all the way through on the analytics, it actually hasn't for us moved the needle in terms of how a video performs. Meaning the things that make a video perform good for us isn't a strong completion rate on the retention side. It's a good click-through rate, a good title, something people care about, getting to the point, getting an interesting intro, first minute, lock them in, and the video can perform well even with a bad retention rate from our metric. I think what Mr. Beast says about the 70% completion rate is good, except when you have the content that is super wide and mainstream. If your content's not super wide and mainstream, the completion of a video is probably not going to be as relevant. If Mike Winger's doing a video on an hour-long Bible study on Ecclesiastes and 40% finish it, like that doesn't change, but YouTube likes the watch time, YouTube likes the click-through rate, YouTube likes the title, boom, there it is. And I think ultimately where this is going to go and what YouTube's going to be looking at is user satisfaction. How are people satisfied? They've specifically been rolling out little surveys for people to check out when they're watching YouTube videos. Some of you guys have been seeing this. If you're seeing this for this channel, please, give it a 5 out of 5 and that whole bit. So there's an actual survey YouTube's been doing to people after they watch a video. And then I also think watching the pattern of someone after they watch a video. Do they click into another video? Do they stay on YouTube? Or do you drop a video that's really polarizing and nasty and combative, and then they completely get off the app because they feel exhausted watching your video and they just feel gross and right? So user experience, I think, is going to be the metric that ultimately YouTube is going to be kind of gauging in terms of what they want to push. So those are the top 3 metrics. The number one, packaging. Guys, spend much more time on your thumbnails and on your titles, and spend less time trying to do over-the-top crazy viral editing, which is why I lean into, hey, Master YouTube Live. That's the name of the channel. And if you want to figure out what your niche is, check out our Find Your Niche training, Discover Your Niche training. The link is in the description. You go to mastermyniche.com, and there's a workshop, a training I do with you, walk you through to help you discover what is your niche training, what is your niche, and what are you best poised to speak at. And then you just kind of got to jump in and start experimenting. I recommend a live platform, Master YouTube Live. Get you that time and attention, get you them reps, and get you creating and publishing. Because if you're just over here doing, edited videos, but you can only drop 1 a month, it's like, fam, that's not gonna move the needle. So the link to the description for our free niche training is below. And if you want to hear more about my journey and how I went from having a failing YouTube channel to making over $10,000 a month from AdSense alone,